The Florida Gators are absolutely on fire this week on the recruiting trail, as in the last 3 days, Billy Napier has literally reached into his bag and has been pulling out recruit after recruit after recruit. And guys, we have to talk about it because as Oklahoma and many and Texas are planning on heading into the SEC, many teams have to be watching exactly what is going on in Gainesville and looking at it and going, Billy Napier might have the Gators on the right track. But guys, before we jump into it, before we talk about it, Gator fans, I want to hear from you. Go ahead and jump down in the comments below and let me know what y'all's thoughts are around the Gators recruiting and quite frankly how hot it is, because if you're a Gator fan right now, there is no reason for you not to be excited about exactly what Billy Napier is doing in just his second recruiting cycle. Because, well, yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. If you paid any attention to the Gators, well, you kind of realized that last season, you know, they didn't have the best. And it wasn't up to what Florida fans might expect from the swamp. But over the past 7 days, so over the past week, they've landed 9 commitments and they have jumped up to the 3rd overall ranked team in the 24/7 composite rankings. Now, this class is headlined by really 2 main guys. You've got DJ Lagway on the offensive side of the ball, a 5-star dual threat quarterback out of Willis, Texas, a guy that, if you can't tell, I like Oklahoma, a guy that Oklahoma wanted and a guy that USC wanted with Lincoln Riley. And when you look at what DJ Lagway is going to be able to bring to the Florida Gators, he's going to be able to bring elite quarterback talent back to Gainesville. And that's something that, well, quite frankly, Florida's been missing for the past couple of years. And when you look at what the intangibles that DJ Lagway has and the ability to throw the ball as a 6'2" quarterback, his, yeah, it's just that good. Now, didn't have the completely star-studded great performance in the Elite 11, but you still expect the future is bright with DJ Lagway at the helm. And additionally, on the defensive side of the ball, the Florida Gators got a 4-star, well, no, he's actually a 5-star. A 5-star safety in Xavier Filsamy out of McKinney, Texas. Now, he's the 32 overall ranked player in the country, the number 2 safety in the country. But the Florida Gators have 2 5-stars, one on the offensive side, one on the defensive side, that is really headlining this class, along with a guy in the name of Miles Graham, who is a 6'1", 212-pound linebacker that I'm really high on and a lot of people across the industry really love as well. But looking at what the Florida Gators have been able to get just in the past 3 days, 4-star Jamonte Waller. You have the 4-star linebacker Aaron Childs, the 4-star tight end Amir Jackson, the 4-star defensive lineman Amarius Williams, the 4-star defensive lineman Nasir Johnson, the 3-star offensive tackle Marcus Mescal, and then 3-star defensive lineman Micah, and I hope I'm going to say this last name right, Boyora? I hope I said that right. But when you look at what the Florida Gators are doing, they definitely last year and this year have kind of been focusing on building in the trenches. You see them taking several defensive linemen and several offensive linemen as well. They really kind of had a portal exodus on the offensive line this past season. And with the new quarterback of DJ Lagway coming in, you've got to be able to protect your assets. But Billy Napier it feels like he's bringing a rejuvenated fire to this program, especially on the recruiting trail, getting kids to buy in to what he is selling out there in Gainesville. And if you are any SEC opponent that has to play Florida in the next coming years, you're definitely not confident in the ability to go out there and beat Florida handily, or look at it and go, that's one I can circle as a win. So if you look at what they took in 2023 and what they could be potentially adding in 2024, again, it's all trenches. That's where you're seeing them focus. Last cycle, they got 4-star defensive lineman Kelby Collins, a 6'4", 265-pound defensive lineman. They've got the inside offensive lineman, the 4-star Roderick Kearney out of Orange Park, Florida. They got other guys like Will Norman and Kamar James. Again, 2 more defensive linemen. They got TJ Searcy. So if you notice, again, the theme is offensive lineman, defensive lineman, trench building, which is also another thing that they were able to go do in the transfer portal. They were able to go out there, find experienced offensive linemen and defensive linemen, and really pull them in to kind of help give Graham Mertz or Jack Sawyer, whoever's going to be the starting quarterback at Florida this next season, the ability to feel like they're being protected so that, well, Florida can get it to the weapons that they need to, because at the end of the day, we have seen Florida be able to go out there and land skill players, and there's still quite a few players that are uncommitted, top players in the state of Florida that they could potentially go out there and land. Not to mention, Florida is looking to go out there and land the 5-star number 2 overall player in this class, or number 3 overall player in this class, according to the 247 composite rankings, Jeremiah Smith, the 6'3", 198-pound wide receiver that's currently committed to Ohio State. And I think a lot of people are feeling like that commitment's not going to stick, because when Dylan Raiola decommitted and his future was looming on where he was going to end up, a lot of people thought, hey, if he ends up at Georgia, Jeremiah Smith might follow him there. But I'll say this, DJ Lagway is going hard after Jeremiah Smith. And DJ Lagway wants to have weapons just like Jeremiah Smith around him. But you look at some of the other talent, right, that's in the state of Florida that they could potentially try to land or potentially flip. You've got the 5-star defensive lineman David Stone at IMG Academy. Yes, he's originally from Oklahoma City, but the Florida Gators were one of the few short teams that actually got a official visit from David Stone. And we talked about Jeremiah Smith, but you could look at Ellis Robinson, the 5-star cornerback from IMG Academy. Not saying that Florida's going to go out there and land all of these guys, but you have to feel good at where Florida's at, especially with the momentum that they have and the ability to maybe go out there and try to flip some of these guys. Josiah Trader, the 5-star athlete out of Hollywood, Florida. This is the one that I think Florida fans should circle, because right now it seems like this is going to be a Miami and Florida State battle. But if you're the Florida Gators, you have an opportunity to go in here and try to sell the 6'1", 175-pound wide receiver on the ability to come play with a 5-star quarterback. That's not something that Florida State or Miami can offer. So you look at what Florida could potentially bring in throughout the rest of this recruiting cycle and what they have already done. Like, I don't think we've talked enough about it, what they've already done on the recruiting trail. Really, Billy Napier, we talked about how this was going to be an important season for Billy Napier, how he needed to go out there and probably get 7 to 8 wins and probably win the bowl game for this to be considered a successful season, because Florida fans aren't going to, I guess, be okay with another really down season. You've got to play catch up to Georgia, the team that has won back-to-back national championships, and you have 2 teams, Oklahoma and Texas, that are coming into your conference that expect to be hot. And if you're the Florida Gators, you got to put yourself in prime position to keep yourself as an elite SEC team, because you've been an SEC brand for a while. So, Florida Gator fans, I want to hear from you. Go ahead, jump down in the comments below. And let me know what y'all's thoughts are around this recruiting class that you guys have been able to put together. But honestly, what an incredible 7 days that Billy Napier and the Florida Gators have been able to put on the recruiting trail. So guys, go ahead, jump down in the comments below and let me know what y'all's thoughts are.